A single sentence can destroy 12 years of brotherhood faster than a bullet. It hangs in the air of the private dining room at the Obsidian, a high-end restaurant in the heart of Victoria Island, Lagos. The air conditioning hums, a low, cold vibration that does nothing to cool the sudden, suffocating heat that has gripped the table. On the table, a fork clatters against a hand-painted ceramic plate, the sound echoing like a gunshot. It is Ify's fork. Her hand is trembling. Beside her, Chika's body has gone completely rigid. His jaw is clenched so tightly that a muscle in his cheek twitches violently. His knuckles, wrapped around a half-empty glass of expensive whiskey, are white. Across the table, Musa's calm, expressive eyes, usually filled with warmth and gentle humor, have turned to absolute stone. His wife, Amina, slowly lowers her glass of water, her face a mask of elegant, quiet offense. At the center of the disaster is Bello. He sits back in his leather chair, a smirk still playing on his lips, though it is rapidly decaying into a look of defensive panic. His wife, Bukky, is staring at him, her eyes wide with a mixture of profound embarrassment and sheer horror. The silence is not just quiet, it is a physical weight, pressing down on the six of them, crushing 12 years of shared birthdays, joint business ventures, late-night emergencies, and chosen family into a handful of dust. What could a man say to his brothers, men who had carried him through financial ruin, held his hand at his mother's funeral, and shared his bed when his own house flooded, that would make them look at him as if he were a complete stranger? What poison had Bello just poured into the well? To understand how they arrived at this precipice, one must first look at the foundation. Before the fracture, there was the mosaic. For over a decade, the three couples were inseparable. They were the envy of their social circles, a perfect, modern Nigerian picture of unity that defied the old, ugly narratives of tribal division. Chika and Ify were the drivers of momentum. Chika, an Igbo man from Anambra, was a force of nature in the real estate sector. He possessed an relentless, infectious drive, but his ambition was grounded by Ify, an elegant woman who ran a successful interior design firm. Together, they built a life of structured luxury, their home in Lekki Phase 1 always open to their friends. Musa and Amina were the anchors of peace. Musa, a Hausa man from Kano, was a highly respected director in a federal regulatory agency. He carried himself with the quiet, unshakable dignity of his upbringing. Amina, his wife, was a brilliant software engineer who wore her intelligence with a quiet grace, her soft-spoken nature masking a mind that was constantly 3 steps ahead of everyone else. Bello and Bukky were the life of the party. Bello, a Yoruba man from Ogun State, was a charismatic PR consultant. He had a golden tongue, a quick laugh, and a personality that could fill any room. Bukky, his wife, was the glue of the entire group. Wise, warm, and deeply intuitive, Bukky was the one who remembered everyone's anniversaries, who organized the group vacations, and who possessed an innate ability to sense when anyone was hurting. They had built a beautiful, blended world. They celebrated Eid at Musa and Amina's home, feasting on perfectly spiced ram meat and tuwon shinkafa. They gathered at Chika and Ify's for the New Yam festival, drinking palm wine sent directly from the village. They danced to classic Fuji music at Bello's family functions, wearing matching osoebi that Bukky had meticulously sourced. They were not just friends, they were a fortress. When Bello's PR firm nearly went under during the economic downturn 3 years prior, Chika didn't just offer advice, he quietly deposited 10 million naira into Bello's account as a long-term, zero-interest personal loan, refusing to sign a contract because brothers don't sign papers to help brothers. When Amina's mother fell ill in Kaduna, Bukky drove to Musa's house at 2 a.m. to watch their children so Musa and Amina could catch the first flight out, but even the strongest fortresses can have hairline fractures in their foundations. Waiting for the right seismic shift to crack wide open, the shift began subtly, months before the dinner at the Obsidian. Lagos is a city that measures a man by his speed, and lately, Bello felt like he was running in wet cement while Chika was flying. Chika had just secured a massive joint venture partnership for a luxury high-rise development in Ikoyi. He was on the cover of business magazines, his name spoken in hushed, respectful tones in boardrooms. Bello, on the other hand, was struggling. A major government public relations contract he had been chasing for a year had just fallen through, leaving his agency scrambling to pay rent on their commercial office space. The pressure was mounting, and with it, a toxic, silent envy began to fester in Bello's heart. One evening, a month before the dinner, the three husbands were sitting on Chika's patio, watching the sunset over the lagoon. Chika was speaking enthusiastically about his new project, gesturing with a glass. "We are breaking ground next month," Chika said, his face glowing. "It's going to be massive." "Bello, I'm actually looking for a top-tier firm to handle the launch PR. I want you to pitch for it. It's a guaranteed 50 million naira acco." Instead of being grateful, Bello felt a sharp, bitter sting in his chest. A pitch. He was Chika's brother. Why did he have to pitch for it? Why did Chika have to hand him charity like a king throwing crumbs to a beggar? "A pitch, Chika?" Bello asked, his voice falsely casual, though his eyes were sharp. "Or is that just your way of making sure you get the absolute lowest price out of me? You know how you Igbo guys are. Always looking to squeeze out every kobo, even from family." The patio went quiet for a brief second. Musa lowered his glass of juice, looking between the two men. Chika laughed, though the sound was slightly hollow. "Ahoy, Bello. Business is business. I have partners to answer to. I'm giving you the inside track because you're my brother, not because I want to squeeze you." "Right. Business," Bello muttered, taking a long sip of his drink. "Sometimes I wonder if you guys have a heart under those designer suits, or if it's just a ledger sheet."